Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session of Business to Chat with me, Glenys Chatterley from EBN, which you possibly all know now stands for Effective Business Network. This morning, we've got one of our younger people coming to talk to us. Yay! That's James Grande Scrutton, and I always have a problem with your name. So tell me what you... Yeah, and you've even written it on your screen for me, but I always have a problem. It's just such a posh name, and I get
very... Oh, it's really not posh.
Really
not posh.
Welcome to this session. As you can see, it's all a bit chaotic, but we'll get through it, won't we?
Yeah.
So, James, I've said your name-ish. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So, I run GS Graphic Design, which the name is quite self-explanatory. It's a graphic design company, mainly doing branding, but also do print design as well. So everything and that sort of thing, mainly working with people who want to start up their own business and create a good first impression with their potential clients.
Fantastic. And how long have you been in business?
Just over 2 years now. So celebrated 2 years on February the 6th. Sorry.
So, yeah.
It feels quite old, but it's quite new to some businesses. So
yeah. What you do or it does?
Both, both, to be honest with
you. You've aged dramatically since you started, yeah.
But it feels like it, yeah. It's like I'm 21 this year, and that's I feel old, but
yeah, no, honestly, you're not. So tell me a little bit about why you went into business for yourself and when you knew and all of that stuff.
Yeah, so I sort of came out of education. Like I haven't had a job before this. My work experience is a paper round and a Christmas Tesco job. So I sort of tried to get a job in design and was just having all the interviews now. And I was getting told I didn't have experience. So I just sort of thought, well, I'll just start up my own company, do it for 6 months. If it goes badly, it's experience on my CV. And then I just sort of started doing it and I found out I quite enjoy it. I quite enjoy like the collaborative side of things, just working with people, the networking as well. So I just thought I'll keep at it and keep going. And it's good. I enjoy it. And there was points where it's sort of like, I don't think this is going to work. But as it's gone on, I've started doing more stuff. It's like, yeah, this is quite all right. And I think getting to 2 years last month it's a big milestone. But for me personally, I was really happy with it. You know, I thought I barely even get to a year, let alone 2. So, you know, yeah.
And is it like you thought it was going to be?
No, I thought I'd be a millionaire at this point, to be honest with you. I knew it didn't happen overnight. So, you know, I think I'm not at a point where I want to be at the moment, but I think you never really are 100% where you want to be at any time anyway. So, no, I think I knew it was going to be tough from the start anyway. So I've it's as I expected, I guess.
Right. Yeah. I think, if only I'd have known you then, I'd have said, unless you're really lucky, not a million in a couple of years, but eventually, we can sort of work towards that, can't we? And I think also, you're right. I think when you want to grow your business, I always think of it as I'm very greedy. I want more. Don't matter if that's going well, then if something's going well, then I want to do something else and see how that goes and all of that. You know, I've been self-employed for forever and I've had several companies, some successful, some less so. And I just think you can't sort of stop yourself. And if you stay with a business, then it's within the business. You keep adding bits on. And have you found that to be so?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm still at a stage where I'm slowly growing, so I haven't got to that sort of point yet. But definitely, I think if you get complacent, and you're happy where you are, that's when you sort of start to, I don't want to use the word peter out, because I think, at least in my case, I would always have that passion for what I do. But if I was starting to get complacent, I was like, yeah, I'm happy where I am, then you're just not going to grow. You're not going to pick up new clients. And then that complacency is then going to turn to sort of urgency, I guess is the way to describe it. Like, we've got to get work now, just keep going. So,
and desperate smells funny, I always say. You know, don't do desperate. Even if you are, you just go, it's all fine.
Yeah.
It's all fine. And then go outside and go, no, yeah. So who was your first, how did you get your first client then?
So it was, I started off doing like sports design and stuff. So I had a bloke in America message me on Instagram, can you just design a logo for my Instagram page? And I got paid a $5 on PayPal. And I done that for him with PayPal fees. I think I got about like £3 odd from it. And I remember running downstairs to my parents going, look, someone's paid me for this. And like, I don't think I'd even buy a cup of coffee with that now.
No.
But
A friend of mine who was is a potter, and she left a really good job, went and qualified, took 3 years out, qualified as a potter, did potting, and then went back to exactly the same job she was in before, but now all the reception was filled with her pots that people would buy. And she said to me, this was years before I went self-employed, she said the first pot she sold was a few quid. And she said, and I spent loads of money because I kept going to people, oh, let me buy you that. I've just been paid for a job. You know, she said, and it was like, yeah, no, not quite the idea of that.
no,
You know,
I know.
the
I know
balance
the
wasn't
feeling.
quite right. Yeah.
I've noticed as I sort of started, when I first started off, I had like a week, I think I probably had like 100 quid in a week. And I went to the pub with my mates. I'm like, I'll get this one, mate. No, don't worry. I'll pay this one. I'll get this one. Whereas now I think I'm a bit more tight now. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it's your round. It's like,
yeah.
Look at the time, is it? Well, I've got to go now.
Yeah.
See you later. But yeah.
Yeah, I think the other thing you do is I certainly did, is you can fall for the buying things that make you look good. And I don't mean like your logo and all of that, because that's imperative that you get that right. But I mean things like I bought lots of bits of things that I really could have done without, but I just thought, oh no, that'll be good, you know, forgetting that you actually have to make that money before you can spend it. You know, you should do it that order. So tell me a little bit, if I was looking for a graphic designer, what sort of things should I be thinking about? What would you say?
So,
Tips?
yeah, I would say look for someone who wants to work collaboratively with you. I've had clients in the past who've come to me and they go like, oh yeah, my designer just said, oh, this is the best idea to do. But sometimes the clients have ideas, and at least in my case, it may be, to put it bluntly, a horrible idea that I don't think will work. But at least go, look, okay, let's do it. Let's see how it works. Because at the end of the day, it's not my logo, not my business card, it's theirs.
Yeah.
So I think you need to find a designer who's happy to sort of work with you, not just go off on their own accord and do it. Obviously, sometimes you have to, that's fine. And then also find someone who just takes, like, I guess a similar point, but takes the emotion out of it. I think I touched on this slightly in a blog I'd done a while ago, I can't remember. And basically just have someone that knows it's your project. It's nothing to do with them. Take the emotion out. Because I've had it at the start where you're doing a project like, oh, it's really good. Don't do it this way. Don't do it this way. But again, it's come back to the last point. It's not your project. It's theirs. So have someone that takes their emotions out of it. Obviously, I say take emotions like you're talking to a brick wall when you're doing the work, but have someone obviously just sort of knows the project is for you, and that's it. So yeah, and then I guess I haven't thought of a third one. I wrote down two and I forgot a third one.
Well, I think the thing is with all of this is work with somebody you like.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and that works both ways. As a customer, you should like the people who you're working with, you know, to supply, because that gives a bit of a trust thing going on already. And I think from a supplier's point of view, you know, work with people you like, and I tell you that I don't know if you've done it yet. But don't mention in case you haven't, they might recognize it. But it's the first time you sack a customer. You know, it's that. No, well, it's that thing about, you know, 20% of your customers will take 80% of your time. And the day when you say, no, I can't do that one, I'll pass you on to somebody else, but it's not for me. And I think that's quite liberating, because then you're sort of beyond the going after the money. Do you know what I mean? Because you can have your basis, but there is an element of, oh, well, I know my experience has always been that if I've thought, oh, I'm not sure, don't do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know,
I think that's given me an idea for my third point. It's just work with someone who's going to be honest with you as well.
Yeah.
Have someone that will, if you like, I've had people who've gone to me, oh, can you just put this on this like business card or whatever? And I'm like, well, that's someone else's work. No, don't do it. It's a bad look on you, bad look on me. And just have someone who can tell you that that's not right. Let's not do it that way. Do it this way. So
yeah, I think you're right. Honesty, and there has to be the trust of that. I know it's you may never have got this email from me, but I forget bits. I get all excited about something, and I'll miss this off, or I'll do that, or I'll do the wrong date, or whatever. And people who know me, they just go, really? And I often send an email out saying I'm an idiot. You know, we all have moments, and I think you just have to admit that you're having a moment. I mean, I usually blame it on my age, or lockdown, or my age, or you know, any of those things, or the fact I've not had chocolate for the day, or you know, anything I can think of really.
Like
So
a lockdown excuse.
yeah,
That's not for me when I muck up next time.
yeah. I'm a bit giddy because I've got Easter eggs sat waiting for me. They're on a really high shelf because I'm really short in the kitchen, and every time I walk in, I can see them sat there waiting for me. You know, but not till we might have a practice run on Friday because we're heading towards Easter as we record this. For those of you who are watching it in a month's time and going, "What's she talking about?" Mind you, I get the feeling sometimes people are always going, "What's she talking about?" So, given that you're so new in business, what advice from the heady distance of 2 years ago, what advice would you have given yourself then?
It's going to be a bit biased. Start networking as soon as possible.
Yay!
I've heard of this little group called EBN or something, and I've heard it all right. No, but like because I started networking quite late, and I wish I'd done it as soon as I started. And yeah, again, also just sort of have a good balance as well, because when I started, I was working straight in the morning, straight to the evening, went to bed. I wasn't talking to my friends as much, and I find you just start to burn out, and the quality of your work drops. And I've found since I've sort of started doing more work and actually having that balance where I can say, okay, I've got to do something today. I've got to walk down the road. It's fine. It's been an hour out of my day. Let's go. It's so much better. And I enjoy working more. I'm not burning out anymore. And yeah, and just be sort of, don't DIY it yourself. This is more of a design point for most things as well. Don't do it yourself. If you're not good at something, get someone who is good to do it for you. You know, it goes with design. It goes with everything really. And I probably am a bit hypocritical when I say that, because I do my own blogs and stuff like that, when I probably should get someone who knows how to do it, who knows how to write to do it. But no, I definitely think DIY. Don't DIY it. Sorry.
Yeah, I think also that you can get into the frame of mind where if you're at the beginning and you've not got a lot of money, it's that you sometimes have to do things that you would normally do, but actually you need to sort of go, do you know what, that's worth investing in and getting that absolutely right. So at my marketing, somebody gave me a plan, and when I first started implementing it, but because there are some jobs I like to see done, and it also makes me feel a bit useful around the place. And so I have somebody who they'll write stuff for me, you know, and then I use it mercilessly. And I think that's it as well, that you need to get people who will help you. And sometimes it's that you do a bit of a barter thing going on. If you've not got any money, I'll do this if you do that, and that's fine, as long as you don't do it all the time and never give them any cash. So were you, when you first started, when I went, I just jumped. I had no idea what I was going to be doing. Once you got into it, were you ever scared about it? Were you scared before, or are you still scared? I mean, that might be an option.
Well, I'm sort of, I guess, quite in a lucky situation. I live with my parents, so I haven't got bills and stuff. So I was never particularly scared from a money front, but you do sort of in your head, you're scared, like, what if this client work doesn't come through? What if this job I think I've done really well, they turn around and hate it? There's always that sort of anxiety around that, but I wouldn't say I was particularly scared going into it, mainly because it's like, I haven't got particularly any risk at all, except for maybe if it didn't work, all I would have is maybe 1 year less of a career, which isn't the end of the world. So no, I'm not. I think if from my perspective, if I go into it scared, then I'm not going to be able to do the job that I want to do, because that fear is sort of when you're sitting here, you've got to be creative, thinking creatively. If you're thinking that you're scared, that's going to take away from your creative time. So
I think though that self-employment, and I know I've said this before, but it's that heady mixture of scared and excited, sort of all at the same time. I do my best thinking either when I'm driving or when I'm doing my exercise, because it seems to clear my mind, and I'll go, oh, that's what I need to do with that. But creative, I ain't really. I always look to professionals to be creative around me. I just go, No, my brain won't do that. That's fine. And I have said to people, I would still be at the pen chewing, head scratching stage of this process. And suddenly it's out before you and you think, oh, yeah. I once had somebody years ago when I had a catering business, which I mentioned quite a lot, I think, on this, but it was the one I had that for 18 years. So that was the longest one I had. And we were doing a massive relaunch. I'd got a Michelin star chef on, and we had a massive relaunch, and I did a massive relaunch with no money. But I did things like one guy designed a website, and in return he came and spent a day with the chef in the kitchen. And he loved cooking, and it was that. And then somebody said to me, gosh, how long did all that take you to write? And I said, I didn't. I got somebody to do it. And they said, really? Really, it sounds like you. And I said, yeah, it's that good. That's what you get, people who are that good, you know. I've had some recent stuff done, and she's put in me ma'am, because that's what I say when I'm talking about, I suppose, mother, you know, if it was Southern. But yeah, so it's getting people who can be creative from my point of view, people who can be creative but can listen to what I want and work with me. And it's back to your point. So when now you've got all this free time, that you've got this life balance and work balance going on properly, what sort of things do you do in your spare time apart from going to the pub with your mates?
Well, at the moment, obviously, well, now we can go out, but during the lockdown, I'd be honest with you, just play FIFA and Call of Duty with my mates on Xbox. That's about it. But now that we can go out, obviously, may go to the pub a few times, play a bit more football. I used to play when I was younger, and I've missed playing it really, being in lockdown, stuck inside, and go to the gym a bit as well. It's like you say, when you're exercising, I just sort of blank and just forget about things and just sort of have a empty space to think of. That's why I'm basically saying I'm thick. But
no, but I know what you mean. It's sort of you're not thinking about work, you're thinking about whatever. So what do you do at the gym? I'm always interested in other people's gym routines.
Well, before, obviously, I think the last time I went would have been December, just before they shut them down again, and I tend to just do weights and stuff. I've got a bit of timber these days, so probably should get running a bit. But they're opening in a couple of weeks, so I'll get a bit running, a bit more weights in and stuff like that, and just it's more of a break thing. And obviously before the lockdown, I'd go with a couple of my mates as well, and it's just a chance to have a chat and sort of forget about things, really, like I said before. So yeah,
I was lucky because we don't do Valentine's Day because I don't want my beloved to be told he's got to tell me he loves me. He tells me that every day, and I don't take that for granted. But we don't do Valentine's Day, but we do a gift for each other. And I couldn't think of anything. And then I said, oh, I know what I'll have. So he bought me last year a full set of weights that I wanted. And the daft thing was, we walked to the shop, not realizing, of course, you were picking up all the weights, and we couldn't carry them back all the way. I could do one at a time or one in each hand, but I couldn't do all the way. So I put him with the weights in a cafe, and he had a coffee, and I got the car and we loaded up. But yeah, it's brilliant. I like the fact that I've got my own weights, and I have on a Monday I do light weights and exercising class. Wednesday, I do a body conditioning, which includes weights. Friday, my heavy weights, and I hate Fridays. They're so just, it hurts on Sunday. And then Sunday, I do body conditioning. So I've got weights as part of the process, really. But yeah, once you start going, you can't stop, really.
Yeah, it's good. I usually go before I start work in the mornings, and it's nice to sort of start the day. You get out of bed, just sort of like knackered, half asleep still. You go there. It's just, I think it's the walk as well in the fresh air. You get home and you're like, right, here we go. I'm finally awake. Let's start working. So
I think also there's I do on my Pinterest, I put something up the other week that said exercise in the morning before your body realizes what you're doing.
yeah.
Because if I leave it till the afternoon, I go, do you know what? I'll go and I'll clear that cupboard out, or, you know, that
Do I
will
have to
give
do
it.
it?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's doing it in the morning. I prefer, but I'll do it anytime as long as I get it done.
Yeah.
So I need to do now a bit that I've been told I've got to do. Okay. So what I say is thank you very much, James. It's been marvelous. I would have said that even if I hadn't have been told. For those who are watching, can you please subscribe, like, comment, watch till the end so we don't mess about with the algorithms, tell your friends. And if all that fails and you need a little bit of a lie down, have that, and then have a chocky biscuit and a cup of tea. So thank you, James, and I will be seeing you soon.
Perfect. Thank you for having me. It's been good.
You're welcome.